Welcome to the debut episode of The Changeover. Well, debut of this week's news cycle anyway. I'm Marcus Thorne, joined as always by Leo Sterling and Elena Cruz. And Elena, I have to say, your side of the desk is looking remarkably empty today.
Don't even start, Marcus. My laptop completely died 20 minutes before we hit record. Just a catastrophic blue screen of death. I lost all my prep notes.
See, this is what I've been telling you for months, Elena. You rely way too much on the machines. You don't need a processor to tell you who won a tennis match.
I do when I'm trying to quantify the exact RPMs on a cross-court forehand, Leo, but fine. Today, you get Elena Unplugged. Pure, unadulterated memory.
That sounds incredibly dangerous. Before we test that memory and watch you inevitably hallucinate a stat, let's remind everyone that this podcast is powered by SecondServeAces.com.
Thankfully, their servers are actually functioning.
Exactly. SecondServeAces.com is where you can find all the deep tactical breakdowns we're about to discuss.
Alright, let's get into the breaking news. Because what Jannik Sinner just pulled off at Indian Wells, that is pure, undeniable mental fortitude. No spreadsheet required.
Sinner beating Medvedev in straight sets to win the title. But it's not just a title. He became the youngest player ever to sweep all 6 hardcourt ATP Masters 1000 titles.
Indian Wells. Miami, Canada, Cincinnati, Shanghai, Paris. See? My memory is fine.
Impressive. But think about the narrative currency here. He's matching milestones set by Federer and Djokovic. The torch hasn't just been passed, it's been snatched.
And doing it against Daniil Medvedev, of all people. Medvedev used to own this matchup. It was an absolute lock.
It was a lock. Because Sinner didn't have the physical endurance to hit through the wall. But tactically, Sinner completely flipped the script over the last year.
Yeah.
Without my notes, I can't give you the exact rally length distribution, but just visualizing the court geometry, Sinner was cutting off the angles so early.
It's the fitness, Elena. Pure and simple. 2 years ago, Sinner would have gassed out by the middle of the second set. He would have been writing checks his body couldn't cash, trying to hit winners from behind the baseline.
Right.
Now, he's a machine. He reminds me of Lendl in the mid-80s. Just this heavy, relentless physical pressure that suffocates you.
It's not just physical, though. It's court positioning. Medvedev was standing practically in the parking lot to return serves. Sinner just started serving out wide, dragging Daniil so far off the court he was basically in the front row.
I actually got a text from a coach on tour during the second set. He was sitting right behind Medvedev's box.
Wait, really? Who?
You know I can't reveal my sources, Elena. But he said Gilles Servara and the rest of the camp looked completely out of ideas. They've tried that.
But under extreme stress, players revert to their deepest habits. For Medvedev, that means retreating. It's his safety blanket.
Well, that blanket is full of holes now. Sinner blasted right through it.
I think what's most impressive is the efficiency.
Blankets. Exactly. You can't just rewire a guy's nervous system mid-match.
Not without a complete mental reset. Nope.
Which he clearly didn't have.
He was completely stuck in the mud out there.
I really wish I had my laptop working right now.
Still mourning the sudden death of your hard drive?
It's a tragedy, Marcus. I had a beautiful scatter plot queued up showing exactly where his return point drifted as the pressure mounted.
We don't need a scatter plot, Elena. He was practically standing in the parking lot.
But the geometry of it explains the specific angles Alcaraz was able to exploit.
Well, let's pivot from someone retreating to someone charging headfirst into a PR battle.
Sabalenka.
Aryna Sabalenka.
I love it when she gets mad.
She is absolutely torching that Dubai tournament director.
Calling the criticism of her withdrawal ridiculous right before the Miami Open kicks off.
Which it was.
Completely. But from a storyteller's perspective, this is exactly what she needed right now.
A fabricated enemy?
It's not fabricated if they actually went on the record to criticize her.
The physical toll of the Middle East swing is no joke.
Right, the turnaround time to the Sunshine Double is incredibly tight.
People sit in air-conditioned offices and complain about player withdrawals,
while the athletes are dealing with jet lag that would break a normal person.
I was trying to pull up her post-controversy win percentages from memory earlier.
And what did the mental database say?
She actually tends to overhit when she's trying to prove a point.
Really? I would have thought anger focuses her.
It's a fine line. The unforced errors on the forehand side usually spike in the first 2 rounds when she's agitated.
Because she's trying to hit through the court instead of using it.
Exactly.
I got a text from an agent down in Miami this morning.
Here we go. The mysterious Moleskine contacts.
Hey, my sources are impeccable.
What did the agent say?
Just that her practice sessions have been terrifyingly loud.
Good. That means the kinetic chain is firing.
Or it means she's wasting emotional energy before the main draw.
Ace is groaning at you through the screen, Elena. He knows you're wrong.
Your dog does not understand biomechanics, Leo.
He understands pure aggression.
Well, she's gonna need it. Especially if she runs into Rybakina again.
That Desert Classic they just had was something else.
The ball striking in that match,
Pure violence.
But controlled violence.
that's the difference right there.
Rybakina absorbs the pace so incredibly well.
She doesn't just absorb it, she redirects it with practically zero backswing.
It's all core strength, which reminds me of Jack Draper's comeback.
Yes, his physical transformation over the last 6 months.
Now that is how you build a body legally.
The narrative around British tennis always needs a savior, and he's stepping right into that void.
His first serve percentage is up significantly. He's hitting his spots under pressure.
Because his base is finally stable. He put in the grueling hours.
Look, as much as I love talking about peak athletic performance,
You want to talk about the exact opposite?
the ITIA just dropped a massive hammer.
Marinko Matosevic,
A 4-year ban,
5 separate doping violations.
including blood doping.
which is incredibly rare to see confirmed in tennis these days.
It makes my blood boil, honestly.
No pun intended.
I'm serious, Marcus.
We know, Leo.
Back in the day, guys were just drinking tap water and eating bananas on the changeover.
Well, maybe a few other things in the 80s, but sure.
Now you have former top 40 players risking everything for a physiological shortcut.
The timeline of the violations is what stood out to me.
Right, it wasn't just a one-off mistake.
Exactly. If I could look at my notes, I'd give you the exact dates, but it was a sustained, calculated pattern.
Which means it was entirely premeditated.
The narrative of the aging athlete trying desperately to hang on is as old as time.
It's sad, really.
It's a check his body couldn't cash, honestly, so he tried to forge the signature.
Wow. Did you write that down before the show?
It just came to me.
That was actually pretty good, Leo.
Thank you.
But seriously, the ITIA is not messing around right now.
They can't afford to. The sport's credibility relies entirely on these strict liability rules.
4 years at his age is basically a career death sentence.
It is a career death sentence. He's officially done.
It shifts the entire risk-reward calculus for players grinding on the Challenger Tour.
As it should. If you can't put in the honest hours in the gym, get off the court.
It's not always just about the gym, Leo. It's about recovery.
Recovery is part of fitness,
I agree. But blood doping specifically targets oxygen transport.
which is endurance.
Let's not turn this into a biology seminar, please.
Sorry. The data nerd in me just wants to break down his VO2 max anomalies.
Please don't.
Even Ace is falling asleep now.
Fine.
I think that's our cue to wrap this up before Aryna tries to draw a graph on a napkin.
I literally have a pen in my hand right now.
Put the pen down, Aryna.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
From deep return positions to deep-seated grudges. And that's a wrap for this week. Head to secondserveaces.com for the full deep dives on every match we covered today.
See you next time on The Changeover. Cheers.